Happy New Year, beautiful friends. January 13th, we have the first full moon of 2025 in the highly psychic, deeply emotional water sign of Cancer. This is going to be a passionate full moon, emotionally reactive for some of us, super creative and romantic. And it has a very healing spiritual component. And my favorite part is that this full moon has a fated and destined quality to it, so anything could happen. This and more is what I'm going to share with you in this video. In part one, I'm going to share with you who will feel this full moon most personally and intensely based on the planets and points in your natal astrology chart. What are the aspects? And how can we navigate them with the most ease and grace? So consider part one to be the first part of your 12 sign readings. And in part two, I will be letting you know where in your natal astrology chart, based on your rising sign and the whole sign house system, you will be feeling this full moon in Cancer, and pulling an oracle card for each of the 12 signs as well. So be sure and watch part one, or you will miss some of the most important astrology and how you can practically use this full moon to your best advantage. So I'm super excited to talk with you about this first full moon of 2025. But before I do, I want to say hello and welcome if you have just found the channel. I'm Betsy Gutting. I'm a psychic astrologer as well as an intuitive life coach and the author of the book, The Magic of Saying Yes, Answering Your Heart's True Calling. In my videos and my astrology consultations, I weave together divine downloads, spiritual insights, and Western tropical astrology. So if you would like to feel empowered through astrology and you want to find your tribe, it's my intention that we create a like-minded community here. Be sure and tap the subscribe button so you don't miss a video. Welcome back. If you've been watching my videos, I am so excited to dive into 2025 with you and know that we are all doing this journey together. And I do offer you one-on-one support through my astrology consultations and my coachings. So stay tuned till the end of the video. I will share more with you about my offerings, and I have a free gift for you. I'll tell you how to get that free gift at the end as well. But I also want to let you know that I write about the astrology between videos through my weekly inspirational astrology updates. So if you'd like to get those direct to your inbox for free, go to my website, sign up, and you will get my free instant download gift right away. Now, some of you are aware that all full moons bring an ending, a culmination, something coming to light, a truth that we didn't see before, or a manifestation. Full moons are not just something is over. They're not just the end of a chapter. They're often something coming to full bloom, something coming to fruition. But they are often highly emotional, and this is because they are what we call an opposition. And that means that the sun and the moon are opposite each other. And so we feel them in our relationships, you and the other. And especially in water energy like Cancer, they are extra emotional. Why? Because Cancer is one of the most emotionally sensitive signs. In the traditional zodiac, Cancer rules home and family. It rules the most personal area of the chart. It is the fourth house, which is the very bottom of the chart. It's ruled by the moon. That is our subconscious, often the part of us that we're not aware of, our blind spot. But it's where we want emotional security. It's where we want to feel safe. It's our home. It's our sanctuary, our domestic life, and our need for comfort and nurturing. And for every single one of us, Cancer energy is the first experience of getting our emotional needs met or not met. The words attachment and expectations come into play when we look at Cancer energy. And it's where we often expect to get back the love and the devotion that we're giving to the other, whoever the other is. This could be a friend, this can be a partner, this can be just someone you're interacting with in the moment. But for all of us, this goes back to a very primal desire to feel loved and lovable because it represents the mother, Cancer energy. So we often feel a Cancer full moon in the areas of home, family, and emotional security. Now, during this full moon, the moon will be in Cancer, but the sun will be opposite the moon in Capricorn. And Capricorn rules our public life. It rules the 10th house of the zodiac, which is career, legacy, where our goals and ambitions lie and where we want to feel accomplished and that we're achieving something in this lifetime. So during this full moon, we're balancing this very personal need for love, care, comforting, and nurturing with the more public, ambitious, career-oriented for some of us side. Now, if you have strong Cancer energy in your chart, or you know people who have strong Cancer energy, you know it can be quite nostalgic during a full moon in Cancer. You can expect to be thinking about your past. You can expect that you might have flashbacks to moments that were very sweet for you, or even moments that were a mix of sweet or bittersweet or difficult. But in Cancer energy, we often yearn for the best days of our past. Why is this? Because water energy remembers everything. And because Cancer is ruled by the moon, it's very subconscious, and it can bring up our deep longings, yearnings, fears, desires, visions, and dreams for the ideal life. It's also worth noting that this is the first full moon in Cancer since Pluto left Capricorn. That was just 6 weeks before this full moon occurs. And for 15 years, Pluto and Capricorn opposed the Cancer energy in your chart, my friend. Even if you don't have planets or points in Cancer, you still have it somewhere in your natal astrology chart, and Pluto was opposing that area of your chart. So I think a lot of us are going to be releasing, because full moons are emotional release too, releasing, or if not releasing, going back to past moments that occurred while Pluto was in Capricorn. Think of this as the final wave washing over you, releasing that Pluto and Capricorn, letting go of an old self for some of us. And this is really good news because we are moving into this new era of Pluto in Aquarius, and we are walking into a new year. And that will be unlike any year we have ever had in our lifetimes, with 5 outer planets changing signs. And I also feel and see a lot of beautiful, uplifting energy with this full moon, which I'm going to share with you in a moment when I get into the aspects. But first, who is most going to feel this full moon in Cancer? It's happening at 23 degrees, 59 minutes of Cancer. So if you have planets or points between 19 and 29 degrees of Cancer, or the other cardinal signs, Capricorn, Aries, or Libra, you will feel this full moon in Cancer most personally, most intensely. But even if you don't have planets or points near this 23, 24 degree point in a cardinal sign, you may still feel this full moon. It will be different for everyone depending on the natal planets or points and the signs that they are in your chart. And of course, I can analyze this for you, and along with what all of the other transits are doing right now in your chart, in a personal astrology consultation. So let's look at the aspects, because the aspects are quite telling for this full moon. First of all, the moon is going to be conjunct Mars retrograde in Cancer. Mars is our mojo. It's our drive. It's our desire. It's what gets us out of bed in the morning. It's our motivation and our passion. And when you have a full moon conjunct Mars, this is passion, my friend. Whoever you meet up with during this full moon time, let's say this, it will probably feel quite magnetic, a very strong attraction. Whether they are platonic or romantic, there's going to be a lot of intense energy in the air around this full moon. Mars energy also helps us to advocate for ourselves. We're more courageous when the moon is conjunct Mars. We're more willing to speak up for ourselves. We're more willing to ask for what we need. And remember, Cancer energy is our emotional needs. So this is definitely a full moon in which we want to be attentive to self-care. But what does it mean that Mars is retrograde during this full moon? In my January 2025 video, I talk about Mars retrograde in Cancer at length. I also have a whole separate video for you on Mars in Cancer for 5.5 months, which is the full amount of time that Mars is in Cancer from the moment that it went into Cancer last fall to mid-April, when it comes out of its post-retrograde shadow. But the nutshell of it is that when Mars is retrograde, it often takes us back to our past. And Cancer, again, we already focus on the past in Cancer energy. There's a faded quality to Mars retrograde. We're drawn back to places that we came from. We're drawn back to things that we used to do that we stopped doing. We're drawn back to people, situations, jobs, even careers, even things we loved to do as a child when Mars is retrograde. You can also feel like you are going backwards in some way. None of us want that. That's not what Mars energy wants. Mars wants to go forward, it wants to make progress, right? But with a retrograde, we can feel like we're backtracking in some way or we're just not progressing. And so we definitely want to be aware of being patient with ourselves and with others and just know that this is not a time necessarily to surge forward, to have big accomplishments, to feel like we're winning. This is not a time for that. What this full moon feels like to me is more of a chance to give ourselves what we most need. And one of the best ways to use Mars energy is to move your body. The image that I get with this full moon is going out and listening to music, going to a concert, dancing, releasing your energy, being physical, even strenuous exercise if you're feeling called to that could be really nice as long as you don't overdo it, as long as you don't decide to run 5 miles when you haven't run at all for years or ever. As long as you are measured in what you're doing and you don't go too far, this is a really good time to express your passion, your emotion through your physical body. And yes, making love would be beautiful during this full moon. However, I don't see this as a fling kind of full moon because Mars is associated with sexuality for sure. But because Venus in Pisces, and Venus rules romance, is making a conjunction to Saturn during this full moon, I don't see this as a fling kind of energy. Saturn says be discerning, set clear boundaries, really pay attention to what you want on a long-term trajectory. Mars was last at this degree point of this full moon in Cancer on October 17th. So you might want to look back to mid-October and notice if there was anything in particular that was going on for you at that time. This could feel like a culmination of that or something coming up again along the lines of anything that was going on for you at that time. And it's true that we also often associate Mars with conflict, with anger, with frustration. So these feelings, situations, emotions could come up for you as well. However, because of the aspects I'm about to tell you about, I feel that this full moon is going to feel more lovely than full of conflict. For many of us, we're all different. Really, how you feel this full moon in large part is going to depend on how it is aspecting the natal planets and points in your astrology chart. So not only is the moon conjunct Mars, it is making a beautiful trine to Neptune in Pisces. Neptune in Pisces is now direct, and this is a visionary energy. This is where we are, first of all, it's very dreamy. It's passionate. Again, that word passionate, I'll probably say it 10 times in this video, if not more. Neptune in Pisces wants the ideal. Like we can easily drift into fantasy. Nostalgia, yes, off the charts. We can get lost in an amazing, inspirational, dreamy movie or a good book. Your imagination during this full moon may be quite fired up. This is beautiful energy for romance. Your intuitive ability may feel very heightened. You're going to most likely feel more compassionate and empathetic to others, to yourself as well. And you may find yourself wearing your heart on your sleeve or somebody else talking with you wearing their heart on their sleeve. And while I was preparing for this video, what came up for me was that situation that I think a lot of us have been in where another person has had a lot to drink or maybe they're imbibing in some other way and they pour their heart out to you. Maybe they tell you how much they love you, what an amazing person you are. They tell you things that they've never told you before because they're in that very softened state that being intoxicated in some way can bring. That kind of thing could easily happen during this full moon. It is a beautiful full moon for letting others know how much you love and care about them, unless, this is my caveat, we can really go into fantasy and projection. So if you have just met somebody and you are instantly falling head over heels, which could easily happen, try to pace yourself. With Moon trine Neptune, we will easily merge with another person's energy. And when we're merging with other people, we often don't know, is this their energy or your energy, right? what feels like this beautiful soulmate, I've known you forever kind of love could actually be you feeling your own energy. Now, this all said, because the moon and Mars are conjunct, Mars is also going to trine Neptune. So this is a gorgeous full moon for visioning your ideal day, your ideal life, your ideal relationship, your ideal job, whatever it is for you that you are wanting to actualize in 2025. And there's a gorgeous spiritual component to this. This could be you deepening your connection with your own divine guidance. Now, just 2 days before this full moon, the lunar nodes are going to change signs. This is a big shift for all of us energetically in 2025. The lunar nodes are going to go from Aries and Libra into Pisces and Virgo. And because this moon is trining Neptune and Neptune is in Pisces, it's significant that Neptune in Pisces is going to make a conjunction to the North Node in Pisces during this full moon. They will be 2 degrees apart, and 2 weeks later, about 2 weeks later, on February 1st, they will be exactly conjunct. Neptune conjunct the North Node can be a true fated, destined meeting, experience, event. Yes, it can be you meeting a soulmate. Absolutely. Not only this, the moon is going to make a sextile, another harmonious aspect to the south node of fate. This is why I'm saying that this full moon is going to feel very fated or destined in terms of what happens, especially if it's making a connection to any of the planets or points in your chart. And not only is Neptune making a conjunction to the North Node of Destiny, the Cancer moon is making a trine to the North Node in Pisces. And these nodal connections are important aspects because the nodes of the moon are connected to the eclipses that we're going to have over the next 18-month period. And eclipses, they course correct our lives. They align us with our destiny. They align us with our fate. They pick us up and put us in the right place, whether it's a relationship, a situation, a career, or a job. They move us into the highest alignment of who we came here to be. And this is why these aspects to the lunar nodes are so important. Finally, the moon is also going to make a beautiful sextile to Uranus in Taurus. Uranus and Taurus is retrograde during this full moon, but they will both be at 23 degrees. So this is an exact sextile, and that is powerful. Uranus is an electrical energy. It is the planet of spontaneity and unexpected situations, epiphanies, divine downloads, aha moments. When it is in a harmonic aspect like this, it's not disruptive in the same way. It's not discombobulating. It's more like something novel, something that we haven't done in a while, something new and different. And with a sextile, it's an opportunity or a solution. Most likely having to do with your home or a family member or your relationship to a family member or your own relationship to your own inner home, an opportunity that you weren't expecting. And yes, this could also be a situation, person, or event. Because Uranus is in Taurus, this is the sensual pleasures of life. This is love, beauty, romance. This is money. And it's something that we want to build. It's something that we want to last. It's something that we're willing to put time and effort into. I think of sextiles with Uranus as a fresh breeze blowing in. It's often a relief, a sigh of, yay, something good, something fun, something happy happening. So this is beautiful news for all of us. Okay, so let's do the 12 sign readings now. Listen to your rising sign. This is the area of your natal chart in which this full moon is happening, which corresponds to the area of your life that you can expect to feel this energy based on the whole sign house system. Listen to your sun sign as well. This will bring you further themes that you may experience during the full moon. And your moon sign is also going to give you additional themes, as well as how you may feel this full moon emotionally and in your relationships. And we're going to start with Cancer because Cancer, this is your full moon. And beautiful Cancer, I'm right there with you because I have my rising in Cancer and my moon in Cancer. And I will share that this full moon is going to conjunct my own Cancer moon. Exactly. So I'm just got a bunch of chills in my heart, and I know this is going to be a significant full moon. Cancer. It's happening in your first house, and when you have a full moon in your first house, it can affect all of the most important areas of your life. Why do I say this? Because it's an angle of your chart. The first house is across from the seventh house, and it makes aspects to your 10th house and your fourth house. So this could affect your relationships, and often we feel this most in partnerships or significant relationships in which we have their back and they have our back, or it could affect your career and or your home life. But big picture, it's in your first house of identity, which is how you see yourself, your self-image, how you want other people to see you, the roles you play, the titles that you have, whether it's your professional life or your personal life. And it's your relationship status, and it is your appearance, your vitality, and your physical body. So when we have a full moon in the first house, we want to be especially aware that we are more sensitive in Cancer energy. And we also want to be aware of our physical health and vitality, not overdoing it, and really taking care of anything that comes up. You know, if you feel run down, if you're not getting enough sleep, taking extra vitamin supplements if you're feeling those kinds of things, because our health, we can definitely feel during a full moon in our sign. We can definitely feel it in our body, especially when we've got Mars making an exact, well, not exact, a few degrees away, very close conjunction to this full moon. And Mars is that get up and go. It is retrograde, yes, so that it's slightly diminished, but it's powerful energy. We can really have a big surge of adrenaline during this full moon. And it's easy to burn out. So just pace yourself, beautiful Cancer. What I see for Cancers here is a lot of communication with your seventh house relationships, or it could bring a fated or destined relationship into your life that has potential for being a long-term romantic connection. Some of you will, because this is a full moon and that's a culmination and ending a manifestation, or you releasing something, you could be ending a relationship. You could be releasing, letting go of relationships. You could be meeting up with people because it's Mars retrograde. You could be meeting up with people from your past and realizing why you're no longer in, constant contact with them anymore. So it could be kind of a feeling of, okay, I get it now. I see this now, and I don't have a desire to hang out with these people anymore. Or it could be, some really fun. I am getting a real feeling of romance here. And I think it's because, and I'm not just saying new relationships, like for some of you, this is, could be a kickstart to the romance in a current relationship. Restarting that, getting that going again, because romance does come and go. It does wane in all relationships. Or just, a friendship, like feeling like maybe the wind was let out of your sails in a different relationship, and then it gets reignited. A reignition, that's the word, reignite. That's the word I'm looking for. Which I love. Cancer, because you have the tendency to put everyone else's needs first. I do want to remind all of us, myself included, to really pay attention to our own needs, particularly because this Neptune trine, the moon trining Neptune, can really have us assuming things about people that aren't true, expecting things that other people will do that they don't do. It could bring about a disappointment. And I want us to have the best time that we can have during this full moon. And so I give you that reminder. We're going to be balancing for sure the needs of ourselves and the other could be clients, the other could be your business responsibilities, the other could be family responsibilities, needs of other people, especially when we have a very strong aspect to Neptune, which is a planet of not just our vision, and I think a lot of us are going to be thinking about our vision for the year. It's not just about that, it's also a very healing energy. So those of you who do healing work with others, those of you who do whatever it is that you do, whether you consider it a healing profession or not, all of us, many of us, especially those of us who are very empathic, may find other people coming to us during that time. And that's fine, well and good, as long as we are, using our boundaries, being discerning, and not giving too much away. Some of you have probably heard me say this before. It was a big lesson that I learned, and I'll never forget it. And that's when a dear yoga teacher said to me once, Betsy, save some for yourself. And that's what Cancer energy does, right? We give, we give, we give. We don't even think about it because it's such a feeling. It's such a primal aspect of our being that, and oftentimes it's because we have merged with another person's energy. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just the awareness, like, do I have anything left over to have energy to go do this or that, or the things that I want to do? Okay, so beautiful Cancer. I really feel, I hope you watch part 1 of this video, very important for you, especially because it's your full moon, where I go into the nuances of the different aspects. So your psychic ability will be heightened, your creativity will be heightened. Gorgeous, gorgeous full moon for doing anything that just makes your heart soar. Let your heart soar during this full moon, beautiful Cancer. Let us see what the cards have to say, and let go of the relationships and the situations and things that aren't serving you anymore. Some of us are going to feel that kind of sigh and letting go of anything that happened during Pluto and Capricorn. I think this may feel like kind of like a, I'm getting chills again. I keep getting chills in my heart area, like the final letting go. Even if you felt like I've done all my letting go of my old identity before Pluto and Capricorn, I do feel that there's going to be another layer of that, another layer shed of the old person that we are no longer, and that's beautiful. Okay, so Cancer, let me pull a card for you. Cancer. Ooh, interesting card. It says, honor your resistance. Sometimes no action is the best action at all. Wait. So this card will not resonate with everyone, but if you have a situation that comes up during this full moon that feels like, I don't know, I'm in indecision, wait. And I think this may pertain to any of you who are on the fence. Mars is retrograde, so now I'm realizing this is not surprising. Mars is retrograde. Often it's not the best time to make major life decisions, for sure. But also, because of the passion that's involved in this full moon, and the fact that Venus is very connected to our passion, and during this full moon, Venus is in Pisces also. And Neptune is aspecting the full moon, and it is in Pisces as well. Venus is going to go retrograde. It's going to go retrograde, and we're not going to have the full story, or we may not have the full sense of what we most want, and what our heart really wants to go after or attach to, until after that Venus retrograde in the spring. I don't have the exact dates for you now, but Venus will go retrograde in March. So some of you will want to wait for that, Cancer. Because it's your full moon, I'm going to pull another card for you too, because I think not all of you are going to relate to that card. And let me see. It's your full moon. You deserve it. Independence. This is so cool because it's happening in your first house. Look, she is, look at how she's the butterfly. She's the butterfly. She's coming out of the chrysalis. Decide for yourself, exercise your right to choose. So that is also related to this card of wait, of I don't know yet. I'm in indecision. Where you feel I'm getting an image of people pulling at someone's skirt. What's it called? Apron strings, skirt. Well, you know that phrase. Pulling at you. There's a beautiful Mary Oliver poem where she talks about, the people. And some of you will want to comment on this in the description box, or in the comments. Great. Thank you. But there's a beautiful poem about the Dark Night, Mary Oliver poem, and where people are pulling on you. I need you. I need you. I need you. And do it so it works for me, that kind of thing. And this is saying, no, put yourself first. Decide for yourself. Exercise your right to choose, beautiful Cancer. You are coming out of the chrysalis of Pluto and Capricorn and becoming the butterfly. I love this so much. If this resonates for you, leave me a comment. I would love to hear. Gemini. Hello, beautiful Gemini. Gemini, I have my natal sun in Gemini. And those of you who are Gemini risings are going to experience this full moon in Cancer in your second house. This is important because the full moon is happening across the axis of your second and eighth house, and that's the financial axis. The eighth house is also relationships. I'm going to touch on that in a moment. The full moon itself, the actual moon placement of Cancer, is in your second house of material security. This includes your earned income, your values, your deserving, your self-worth, and your self-love. It's self-reliance, the second house. It's where we feel really good about ourselves. I am earning the money I want to earn. I am taking care of myself. For some of you, it could be I am building my retirement fund, so on and so forth. There's a balancing going on during this full moon with your own, I am doing these things. I am, propping myself up with my material security. There's a balance of that, and eighth house matters because the sun in Capricorn will be transiting your eighth house. And that is your relationship with others. That is sharing resources with others. That's your emotional and physical intimacy with others, or your sexuality. And it is where we are shedding dependencies. It's the house of power and control. So for you, Gemini, this full moon could feel quite transformational to you. You could feel like you're shedding a skin with the sun transiting your eighth house. You could also feel very like something is coming to culmination with the efforts that you've been making in building your assets. That could happen too. Some of you could be paying off a loan. I was going to say, I don't know what, selling a house. You could be selling an asset. You could be buying a home. You could be just feeling like you put a lot of effort, time, and energy into your material foundation, well-being, and that something is culminating, something's paying off, or you're letting go of something. You're letting go of maybe a financial resource that isn't in your best interest to hold on to anymore. Definitely fruition in either finances or partnership, but if it's partnership, it would be a business partnership, and this could be a fated new connection, destined or fated new connection. Fated meaning karmic, destined meaning soulmate. There are fine lines in these definitions, but the bottom line is whether it is fated or destined, your soul is attracting it into your life because there's something to learn and grow and experience through that relationship. So either in business or in your personal life, it doesn't have to be romantic. It could be somebody that you end up sharing resources with that, like a lot of times I notice with my adult children, we have interactions that fall into the eighth house just because they're adults now. They're in their 30s now. So and they're very important people in my life, and that's eighth house people. So, okay, Gemini, let me shuffle for you and let us see what the cards have to say for you for the Cancer full moon. And gems, if you're not aware of this already, we learn a lot from our next door neighbor sign. You learn a lot from Cancer. Cancer learns a lot from you. So when you have a full moon in your next door sign, it's often a time of, feeling expanded in some way, feeling like even if it's a lesson that feels challenging, you do learn a lot and you grow and you come out of it better. Now, overall, this full moon I feel is quite positive as long as we are very aware of our impulses, we're very aware of our temper, and if we are triggered, we use that energy, we express that energy in constructive ways. And we dance out, or we run to go for a run, or we get that energy out because we may have extra heightened energy for sure physically during this full moon. And for you, if you are in a sexual relationship, this could be really passionate, a really passionate full moon for you. Okay, gems, your card. Gemini. Ooh, yes. I love it when the cards synchronize with the placement. This is happening across your second and eighth house axis, and the eighth house is the house of power, and you got power. So cool. Own your power. Every storm brings a fresh new beginning. So the moon is in your second house of your individuality and your own sense of self-reliance, and the sun is in the eighth house Mars will be opposing that sun in the 8th house, and that could bring up a power struggle for you. That could bring up sense of, we're not on the same page. We don't agree on something. We have differing values, or just frustration. Why don't they get it? Why aren't they hearing me? Emotion in Cancer energy, we want to feel emotionally heard. We want to feel like other people care about our feelings. This full moon may show some of you the truth about a partner, or you may be able to, this is the time to really express your feelings about it. And also the full moon is making the moon is making a sextile to Uranus, and Uranus I associate with lightning. So you may notice during this full moon that you have a very strong desire. Well, it's going to give you an opportunity. It's going to give you an opportunity to take that strong desire and bring you closer together with a partner if that's what you want. Or maybe some of you will end a partnership. That could happen for some of you as well. If any of what I just shared with you resonates, beautiful gem, leave me a message, leave me a comment. I would love to hear. Taurus, hello, beautiful Taurus. Taurus, you are going to have this Cancer full moon in your 3rd house. Now it's going to happen on your 3rd and 9th house axis, because the moon will be in the 3rd house and the sun will be in the 9th house. And this is the axis of learning and growth and communication, mindset, expansion, adventure, freedom. This is the growth axis of your chart. So let's get into it more specifically. The moon and Mars conjunct will be in your 3rd house of your local environment, your immediate everyday transactions. This is buying and selling. This is, if you're a freelancer, this is your sales in your business, whatever you do. All business has sales involved, right? If you're making money. It's your local environment. It's all of your meetups with people, short trips, vehicles, devices, your relationships with neighbors, aunts, uncles, and cousins, tenants, and landlords, also writing and speaking, and emailing and so on, communication, and how you're thinking about things in your head. So the 3rd house is always a lot, but just think of it as every day. Just think of it as your everyday doings, errands and all of that, and communication and thinking about things. So when we have a moon, whether it's a new or a full moon in the 3rd house, it's often quite busy. We're often doing a lot of things. But this full moon, you're going to be really energized, I believe, because even though Mars is retrograde, when it is conjunct a moon, we feel it. And you want to be aware of burnout, because we don't, during a Mars retrograde, often have as much energy. So burnout could happen. So pace yourself. The sun is across from the moon in the 9th house, and Mars will oppose the sun in the 9th house. And the 9th house is your higher learning. It's like studying astrology, or getting a certification in Reiki, or taking an adventure, doing long distance travel. It's our spiritual belief system. With Mars making an opposition to the sun in your 9th house, you may cut something out, like a belief system. You may stop going to a church, or stop thinking a certain way, because Mars is saying that doesn't fit me anymore. That doesn't work for me anymore. I don't relate to that like I used to. You could have communications that are quite strong. They could be inspiring. They could feel forceful. Conflict could be involved, or it could just be you. I'm getting this feeling of somebody just like catapulted by the energy of Mars into a new way of thinking. It could be a spiritual awakening for you. On some level, we have spiritual awakenings at all different degrees, right? I've had some very subtle ones, and I've had some that are like, oh my God, what just happened? I'm a new person now. So it can be any level of awakening. Taurus, you are getting a sextile from this moon to you, which is really beautiful. It's an opportunity. It's a solution. It's forward movement or momentum. It's feeling like fresh breezes blowing in, a door is opening for you, which I really, really love. So, I think I've said everything. Just a reminder from the first half of this video, if you haven't watched that, please go back and watch it if you have time, because I do the deeper dive and I just have so much more to tell you about how you can work with the energies of this full moon. But I will say for you, with the sun in the ninth house, I do feel that you may meet a person, whether it is a teacher or a guru, or have some sort of meeting that feels destined or karmic, something that feels meant to be, just because that is also a very spiritual house, the ninth house. Okay, so now I've been shuffling, I'll shuffle a little bit more, and then, beautiful Taurus, let us see what the cards have to say for you. Taurus, your card is courage, and Mars, when it aspects a moon, gives us added courage. This says, take the leap. Ooh, your courage will, I need better light. Here we go. Take the leap. Your courage will see you through. Okay, so Taurus, ninth house is the house of adventure too. And remember, Mars and the moon are shining their energy over to the sun that is transiting your ninth house. So you may feel indecisive during this moon because you really get inspired to do something, but it feels scary to you. If so, this card is very clear. Take the leap. Do you see the Leo energy in this card? Do you see that she has the sword? She's cutting away anything from her life that is no longer in alignment with her. You may want to call on the lion for inspiration. I also see here like a male lion and a lioness. So this could be an omen of relationship for some of you, or the message to partner with another person, to not try and do something yourself. But your courage, when you pull it up, you call it forth within you, Taurus is going to see you through. If you resonate with this message, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Take the leap, the net will appear. Okay, Aries. Hello, beautiful Aries. Aries, you are going to experience this full moon in your fourth house of home, family, childhood conditioning, inner child healing. It's the house of your roots. It's the house where you want to feel a sense of deep belonging. It's the feeling at home within yourself, feeling at home in your own skin. Now you're going to feel this full moon on the axis of the fourth and the 10th house because they are opposite each other, and the moon will be in the fourth and the sun in Capricorn will be transiting your 10th house of career, which means you're balancing your very personal domestic life, a need to be there for your own feelings, a need to feel like others are, in tune with what you're feeling, or empathetic or compassionate about what you're going through, the need to feel in alignment with someone who feels like a soul sister or soul brother or family member, or your relationship with your own mother could come up, your relationship with the mother line, ancestral healing is part of this as well. Any of that could come up, but you could really feel yourself trying to balance the needs of your inner life, your home life, with the needs of your career, the needs of your public life, the desire to be recognized, the desire to feel successful in your work. You could feel some tension going on between those, and that tension could be heightened because you are getting a square from this moon to your energy, from the sun and the moon, squaring your energy. And squares do bring about, often they bring us to a point of decision where we have to make a choice. They can really inspire us, actually, squares. The tension, the resistance can push us into a moment of, I've got to make a change. I've got to take a step. I've got to make a decision here. I've got to do something different. Something's got to give, is often what we feel when we're experiencing a square. But I also want to say, Aries, because Mars is retrograde right now and you are ruled by Mars, I think Aries people, Aries, you are a Mars person. Aries people feel Mars retrogrades regardless of the sign that it's in more personally. And I have done a whole video for you on the Mars retrograde in Leo, which beautifully is trining your energy. But during this full moon, Mars will go back into Cancer, and that squares your energy. But what I want to say is that you might want to go back and watch that Mars retrograde video anyway if you've been struggling with Mars retrograde, because I talk about what is a Mars retrograde like generally for everyone, regardless of the sign that it's in. And Mars ruled people really feel it. I'm not ruled by Mars because I'm double Cancer and Gemini, but I do have Mars in Aries. So I really feel it because Aries people, Mars and Aries people, we want to just keep going, right? We want things to progress. We want to feel like our work is paying off. And when you have a Mars retrograde, you often feel like you're going backwards, or you're not getting what you are putting out. You're not receiving what you should be. And I know, as a Mars in Aries, leave me a comment. Let me know if you resonate with this. I know that, it's challenging. We don't have a lot of patience. Aries people, Mars and Aries people, we don't have patience, right? I mean, I'm sure you work on it. I work on it. But like, just letting the ebbs and flows of life, knowing that there's, things come and they go. Life is a spiral. It's not a straight line. It's not point A to point B, and then I win, then I get the prize. It's not. That's what we want in Aries energy, but that isn't the reality of life. So if you're feeling that during this full moon, I wanted to let you know the lowdown of why you could be feeling that. Okay, beautiful Aries, really take care of your inner child during this full moon. I think you might like the video or the meditation that I have for you that you can get as an instant download when you subscribe for free to my inspirational astrology updates. You might like that. I also have 3 other meditations on my YouTube channel that will help connect you to the sweet child within you, to give that part of you love, nurturing, and tender care. This is a full moon to not push the river, to not push yourself so hard that your energy, that you feel like you're not getting your emotional needs yet. Put your emotional needs first, beautiful Aries. Okay, now, enough shuffling. Let's pull a card. Aries. Your card is gratitude. Say thank you. Experience the joy of acknowledging others. I mean, that is perfect for Cancer energy, acknowledging others. It really is. You may want to use this moon, especially because it's happening in your 4th house of home and family. And we have chosen family, right? It's not necessarily your family of origin, but you may want to use this moon, Aries, to think about who you're grateful for and communicate that to people. If not, communicate it to them directly. Telepathically communicate it to them. Just to sit, our thoughts travel, right? Telepathic communication is happening all the time. Where our thoughts go, our energy flows. But whether you do it in meditation, whether you do a release of letting go of pain, letting go of stress, letting go of maybe where you've had a grievance against yourself or someone else, and then calling up the gratitude, that could be really nurturing for you during this full moon, beautiful Aries. So if anything I shared with you resonates, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Pisces. Hello, beautiful Pisces. Pisces. I think you're really going to love this full moon. So many reasons why. First of all, it's making a trine to your energy, and trines are just lovely flow, the wind at your back. Second of all, it's happening in your 5th house of love, romance, children, and creativity. If you create art, whatever you create, you're very creative, Pisces, in a lot of different ways. Your sign rules the arts, Pisces, whether you know, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of that. So in your 5th house of creativity, wow, 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 what a gorgeous full moon this is for you. If you have love and romance in your life, you are going to feel probably off the charts floating with that person. With friends, you could feel that. With children, you could feel that. if you want to attract a partner into your life, you could have a manifestation of that during this full moon. You could let go of that too, because it is a full moon, and their endings and culminations and cutting ties are often part of a full moon energy. And we do want to keep in mind that Mars is conjunct the moon in your fifth house. Mars is where we often cut ties, or it will bring you back to an old lover. It will bring you back to a place. It will bring you back to an energy, a situation, if only in your mind. Very nostalgic full moon. But if you feel called back, if you say yes, don't be hard on yourself, Pisces. If you say yes to a date with someone that you thought you were over, just keep in mind, I don't want to be too bossy or motherly about this, but I just think this is a full moon to keep our wits about us, about what we really want, and to not go so far that we regret it later, because we can do that. Pisces, you know this well. With Neptune in your sign and Neptune trining this moon, we could really float off into something and just being like, why did I sleep with that person? That kind of thing. You get the idea. But I'm telling you, I love this full moon. I think it's going to be just so sensual and take us into place. Some of us are going to go into places of ecstasy, and that is so gorgeous. It is going to happen on your 5th and 11th house axis, meaning that the sun will oppose the moon in your 11th house. So the sun in your 11th house, it's like the sun is shining on your life of community, tribe, hopes, wishes, and dreams, long-term financial gains, the house of social media platforms. You could feel quite driven, even though Mars is retrograde. We all experience that differently. Pisces, you could feel quite driven with Mars in your 5th, opposing the sun in your 11th. The sun is your identity in your 11th house of community and causes and showing yourself in the world. It's the world card in the tarot. You could feel quite driven to get a social media platform going, to make videos, to it's not just videos. It's anything where you're putting a message out, to write a blog, to write a book, to anything that feels like I'm connecting with my people, my audience, my public, who you would want to be your people, who you would want to be your following. It's very possible you'll experience some sort of culmination and fruition, or an ending, closure, so that a new door can open. And again, as I mentioned in part 1 of this video, there's a destined and or fated quality. So especially when the sun is in your 11th house, you could definitely have, through online dating or through showing up at a coffee shop, or you could meet anyone. It doesn't have to be romantic. It can be friends. It can be a potential future business partner, or it can be anything. It could be a child that you end up adopting. It could be a pet that you end up adopting. The 5th house, where the moon and Mars are going to be, is your house of children. And for some of you, pets are children. Technically pets are in the 6th house, but they could fall in the 5th house as well. If you feel this deep, deep, passionate love, because the 5th house is the house of that deep, passionate love. Enjoy, joy, 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 freedom, adventure. Okay, Pisces, I am now going to pull a card for you and see what the cards have to say for this full moon in Cancer, which, if you can't tell, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. We'll see what actually happens. I will report back to you guys after we see how it plays out. But right now, I'm loving it. Okay, Pisces, you have goals. And notice how ethereal this image is. It's goals, but she's in the daydreaming place. She's in her imagination. She's fantasizing. And that is this moon trining Neptune in your sign. And the message says, set a goal, write it down, release the outcome. Small steps make a big difference. Allow yourself to be in the dreamer state. Allow yourself to go into your imagination. Feel the joy and feel the ecstasy. This is the vortex, right? Get into the vortex. Feel the energy. See the vision. Get the chills. Release it into the ethers. and know that that small step can make a big difference. Beautiful Pisces, if this resonates for you, let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear. Aquarius, Aquarius, beautiful Aquarius. This is the dawning of the age of you. If you're listening for the first time, you probably think I'm crazy, but those of you who've been watching for a while, you know that I'm crazy. A little self-deprecating humor for you there. I do get silly sometimes. It lightens the energy. And beautiful Aquarius, you are heir to my Gemini air, so I think you get it. We got to let our freak flag fly, right, Aquarius? Aquarius, now about you. You are will experience this full moon in Cancer in your 6th house of wellness, your daily habits, your work environment, and the schedules that you have at work and just how you do your life on a daily basis, but it's very much attuned to your optimal health, your energetic levels. So with a full moon here, conjunct Mars, and Mars is where we have a lot of energy, even retrograde. We can have a burst of inspiration. We can decide to cut ties. You could have a run-in with a boss or with a coworker, and run-ins can happen in a lot of different ways. I don't mean to dramatize it. It can be just like it's the last straw, like you're just done, and you could give your notice. That could happen for some of you. Or you could feel super inspired and power through a work project. I mean, that's the thing about astrology. There are always different flavors of how something can play out. And especially because it has to do with, as much has to do with how the planets and points are being activated in your chart. Are the moon and Mars getting positive aspects, harmonious aspects? Are they aspecting your planets or points in your chart harmoniously? That's something that I would have to look at your chart to tell you. The other thing I want to tell you is that the sun will be transiting your 12th house. The sun transiting the 12th house can bring karmic things into our life, people, events, situations. There's usually quite an intensity when we have a planet transiting the 12th house. There can be quite an intensity in our dreams. You can have an awakening. You could find yourself going through a purge. Mars in your 6th will oppose the sun in your 12th. The sun in the 12th could be memories of your father or your parents. The father is the sun, connected to the sun, but this is a moon in Cancer, which is connected to the mother. You could find that you're having a very deep moment of awakening with your spiritual source, or that you just are balancing your inner spiritual life and your divine connection with your everyday earthly stuff, physical body, exercising, the food you're eating, the habits that you're wanting to cut out, very possibly some of you, or how you want to change your daily work. That could be part of it too. So Aquarius, really this full moon is happening for you on your health axis, mental health, emotional health, spiritual well-being, and how you're using your energy on a daily basis. You could feel it in any of these areas. It could be quite a spiritual moon for you. You could really feel it on a deep spiritual level. So let's see what your message is from the cards now. Aquarius. Your card is choice. Is there a choice that is meant for you to make? The card says, reconsider a commitment. You have the right to change your mind. Is there something that you're wishing you hadn't said yes to, or something that you said yes to that you now want to say no? I guess it's the same thing. Aquarius, thank you for giving me a moment to laugh. Is there something that maybe you said no to that now you want to say yes to? Whatever choice you may have made, it's just give yourself permission to change your mind if that's needed. Or maybe you're deciding what to commit to during this moon. You could really experience flashbacks from memories with your mother. You could have conversations with your mother. There's a lot that could go on with the Cancer full moon and the mother. Also a deep healing because of the trine to Neptune. And all of us, I think, are going to be in a place of coming up with a vision, but it's a feelings. It's what we feel. We're feeling the vision because it's water energy. It's Neptune energy. We're going to feel it. And that's what I love about this full moon. So beautiful, Aquarius. If any of what I shared resonates with you, let me know in the comments below. Capricorn. Hello, beautiful Capricorn. You are really going to feel this full moon. Why do I say this? Because it is happening in your 7th house of partnerships. The sun is in your sign right now, which means the full moon is going to oppose your energy. You will feel this energy strongly if you have planets or points, as I shared in part 1 of this video, anywhere around this 23, 24 degree point of the full moon. You are going to experience something in a partnership, most likely. And when I say partnerships, I mean all relationships that are important to you in your life. So this can be an adult child, it can be a romantic partner, a spouse, a significant other, it can be a business partner. It's clients as well. And during this full moon, you are balancing your own needs for independence, your identity, your vitality. Capricorn, most Capricorns that I know work very hard. You're very work focused. You're very responsible. You had to be responsible at a very young age. You take your commitments seriously. You are first and foremost accountable to others. But during this full moon, the sun is going to be in your 1st house, Capricorn, in your sign. And that is a focus on you shining your light in an independent way. That's a focus on your identity, your I am self, your vitality, your physical health, your body. And it's a focus on what do I need? What do I want? And the moon and Mars are going to be in the 7th house. So either you're going to have lots of passion bubbling up or inspiration around partnership, and this could be a partnership you're in or one that you want to call in and co-create. It could be that, or it could be with Mars there's conflict in your relationships, or a relationship. There is something that, because the moon is as our subconscious. The moon and Mars together, Mars can bring up subconscious stuff, and subconscious is subconscious. We're often not aware of it. It is a blind spot. So just know, Capricorn, that whatever comes up for you during this full moon, whether it's incredibly igniting, passionate, inspired, it could be that. You could meet somebody and be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to wait. You could be like, I just, I'm just like madly smitten with this person. That could happen. I mean, Mars, be very strong attraction, but keep in mind it's Mars retrograde. Keep in mind that all the other aspects that I talked about in part 1 of this video are pointing to fated, destined connections that we often are like, I know I've known this person before, or it could be a past love from this lifetime. It could be a past life love, or a past life business partner. Any kind of relationship, but there is passion there on some level. Be intellectual passion. It doesn't have to be physical passion. I love that Mercury is in your sign, and that's going to make you, during this full moon, it's going to keep you in your Capricorn discernment, the desire to co-create something that's long-term, solid, sustainable. That's what I feel is actually going to help all of us with not jumping into something that feels wrong, or even making a quick decision, even if we are frustrated or angry or annoyed with someone to the point of being like, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. For some of us, that will be very appropriate. But because Mercury is in your sign, I think we're going to be more discerning, because that's Capricorn energy. It's your Saturn ruled, and Saturn is conjunct Venus, which means that there's a desire to make something right. There's a desire to make something right in relationship, and to put in the time, the work, the effort to do that. So Capricorn, you can see that there can be a whole gamut of emotions, that from all the way from ecstasy to anger, that you could feel during this full moon. So let me know. It's going to be emotionally heightened, no question. Possibly quite passionate. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, beautiful Capricorn. Capricorn. Oh my gosh, you're going to laugh when you see this card. Passion. You can see I get so excited when there's synchronicity between the message and, what I just shared in the card. I can't help myself. Um, it says, resurrect a childhood dream. Let your passion take flight. I love this so much. Something that I forgot to share with you is that when you have a full moon on an angle of your chart, so the seventh house is one of the angles, especially if it's close to the degree point of the angle of your chart. If I'm speaking gibberish, just ignore it. You don't need to know that, but I'm just saying that when you have a full moon in your seventh house and it's making an opposition to your first house, you could feel this in your area of career or home and family as well, especially if it's making aspects to planets or points in your fourth or 10th houses. So just know that. And that's what I'm being reminded of, that childhood dream. That is Cancer energy, our childhood. But also, this is saying, let your passion take flight. And this reminds me of, if you're wondering, what am I passionate about now? What do I want to do? What do I want to do with the rest of my one wild and precious life? As Mary Oliver puts it, Capricorn, get my book, The Magic of Saying Yes, because I share my journey in there of leaving the practice of law to create a career. And I didn't know what I was creating. I didn't know what I was doing. It was quite a wild ride and journey. I didn't go straight from the law to spiritual coaching. I did some other things, and one of them was quite crazy, which I talk about in chapter 1 of my book. So if you're questioning what's right for you, what's best for you, what is my passion, and so forth, you might really resonate with my book. And first and foremost, what I want to say is, let your passion take flight, because that child within you is really ready to be your muse. And that is really gorgeous, beautiful Capricorn. If anything I shared resonates for you, leave me a comment in the comments below. I would love to hear. Sagittarius, Sagittarius, beautiful Sagittarius. Sag, this full moon in Cancer is happening for you on your financial axis. It's specifically happening in your 8th house. That's where the moon in Cancer and Mars will be joined to the hip, so to speak, in your 8th house of power and control, your house of transformation, death, and rebirth. This is the house of shared resources with other people. This is emotional intimacy, sexual intimacy. If you are in a partnership where you have physical intimacy, it is going to be very passionate, I believe. It could be passionate arguing, and it could be passionate lovemaking. It could be passionate anything, but it's going to be a passionate full moon with its trine to Neptune and the moon conjuncting Mars. This is really, I can't wait to see what this is going to be like. We need to pace ourselves. I believe we need to be really aware of our energy, because could be a lot of adrenaline. The 8th house, where the moon and Mars will be, is also your investments, loans, taxes, debts. It's a culmination, an ending, a fruition. So you could be being very proud of yourself about an investment you made that you feel like is paying off. You could be splitting assets with another person that you're not going to continue a relationship with. Some of you, I'm sorry to say, could be in a custody battle, but if you are, you're probably already there, and you could have a culmination to that, which would probably be a huge sigh of relief. You get the idea. Like, some people will be joining assets during this full moon. Some people will be splitting assets. Some people will be meeting someone that feels fated and destined for the first time, but you're meant to. They could be a business partner. It could be it can be romance. It can be, the 8th house is where we have a very powerful connection with someone, whether it's platonic or romantic. It's powerful. There's often, it's transformational, that kind of relationship. You're balancing the full moon energy, the full moon energy. You're balancing Mars and the moon in the 8th with the sun transiting your 2nd house. Often when the sun transits our 2nd house, we're really thinking about our own individual income. It's more of the house of I am self-reliant. It's a house of your material security, your values, your self-worth, your deserving. The sun transiting there is often quite lovely. It's something maybe you begin to see the fruits of your labor income-wise. Maybe you begin to get ideas during this full moon about how you can expand your income, a side gig, getting a new job, getting a promotion, asking for a promotion, asking to be, you could have a big aha moment about self-worth. You could have a real sense of, I know what I deserve now that you didn't have before. Because the moon is trining Neptune and the sun will make a sextile to Neptune, I think this is going to be a very peaceful feeling or healing moon. And so for those of you if you are engaged in any sort of battle with another person or conflict with another person, I think that Neptune energy is really going to help us to have compassion for ourselves and the other and to come to some sort of peaceful outcome. It will be vibration raising. And if you do feel like there are things coming up for you that are difficult emotionally, I would definitely do some sort of spiritual practice that takes your vibration, lets you go into those higher realms, because that will be really healing. Sagittarius, I know a Sag that's very close to me who's ended a relationship recently and trying to get custody of one or both of their cats. And so I just want to say, if any of you are going through anything like that, I just want to say, like, my heart is with you, but I really love this trine to Neptune and the sextile as well from the sun to Neptune. I think that's a really good omen. And just be open to new possibilities, because with the nodes moving into Pisces and Virgo and Neptune conjunct the North Node during this full moon, this is also I just keep getting the chills whenever I talk about these like fated and destined possibilities, opportunities, connections. Okay, Sag. Pulling a card for you now. And your card is opportunity. There's a magic to this card. I'm going to read it in the light here. It says, release ties to your past. Yes. When you let go of the old, you make room for the new. Give you a close-up of this card. Do you feel the magic in this card? She's holding the crescent moon in her hand. She has all this white light energy circling her. She's getting new downloads, I feel, with the blue, which resonates to the throat chakra and just the receiving messages. And the swirl of divine assistance. And it's not surprising to me that I was talking about the sextile energy, which is opportunity. So, Sag, you are getting a new opportunity during this full moon, or you will awaken to one, but you need to also release ties to your past. Let the old go. It may be really emotional for you this full moon. You may really be releasing. And then the sun will come out and the doors will open and the fresh breeze will blow in and you'll get excited, because we also have a beautiful trine of this moon, a sextile actually of the moon to Uranus in Taurus, and we also have the sun trining Uranus in Taurus. So I love some of the aspects of this full moon. Go back and watch part 1 where I go into those in more depth. But open up. If you want to claim your opportunity, Sag, if you want to claim your opportunity, in the comments below, let us know. I'd love to hear. Scorpio. Hello, beautiful Scorpio. Scorpio, you are going to experience this full moon, which is going to trine your energy, a beautiful flow for you, beautiful wind at your back, sailing down the stream. You're going to love it, I think, this full moon. It is happening in your 9th house of expansion. Expansion, Scorpio. This is the house of long distance travel, adventure, freedom, spiritual awakening, new higher learning. It's expansion. Adventures, new horizons, new scenery. The moon is going to make a conjunction to Mars. So many of you, I feel, are going to be so ready to take some sort of trip to expand in some way, whether it is armchair travel or actual travel. I think, some of you are really ready, really ready. Now, Mars is retrograde. So you may be feeling really nostalgic and you want to go back to some place that you've traveled before. You think of this. I speak at length about this in my Mars retrograde video, and also in my January 2025 video, I talk about Mars retrograding in Cancer. We often feel called to doing something that we've done in the past. We feel called to the familiar. So don't be surprised if you feel called to go someplace you've been before. It could be a past life place. It could be someplace you've just always wanted to go, and there's a reason. Because it has, like I used the example before of how I was called during a Mars retrograde. I was called to move to Mexico, and once I was there, I realized I've lived here before. This is I've got past lives here, have had past lives here, and many of the people I met were from past lifetimes, and I was meant to have that experience again with those people to bring closure. Not necessarily there was difficulty in any of those relationships. Some were a bit challenging, but a lot of them were just, we were meant to meet and exchange energy. And there's so much that happens on an energetic level that we're not even aware of in our human mind. So, Scorpio, if you feel called, pulled by passion to go do something that will feel expansive to you, please go do it. You're balancing the energy of the ninth house, which is I'm out of here. That's the ninth house. I'm packing my bag and I'm out of here. Or I'm taking a course, I'm studying something, I'm expanding my learning. It's that too. You're cutting ties to a religion, or you're cutting ties to an old belief system or philosophy. You're balancing that with the third house energy, because the sun will be in the third house, the moon and Mars will be in the ninth house. The sun in the third house is often a very busy kind of full moon, because the sun is where you are connected to what you have to do, your own sense of identity, your responsibilities, and so forth. And that is the house for you of communication, networking, short trips, errands, transactions with others, landlords and tenants, mortgage companies, siblings, neighbors, your local everything, and your aunts, uncles, and cousins, your extended family. So you could heal a relationship. You could cut ties to a relationship of any of the connections that I just spoke about. This is also the house of websites, emails, networking. So you could find yourself working on a website, starting a new website, closing one out, starting some sort of writing or learning program, presenting, speaking, all of those kinds of things. So yes, but this third, ninth house axis, big picture, is that axis of learning and growth and expanding who you are on a spiritual level and on an everyday level. Scorpio. So that gives you the bigger picture. Some of you are maybe contemplating, do I want to change my location of my office? Do I want to change my location of where I live? Am I still happy in this neighborhood? And so on. So let us, or maybe you're going to rent a new office somewhere. You're going to start, working in a co-working place, things like that. Okay. Scorpio, are you ready for an adventure? If you are, let me know in the comments below. Let's see what the cards have to say for you, Scorpio. Your card is self-respect. Respect yourself. You are the best judge of what is right. Are you trying to make a decision? Is there something that doesn't feel in alignment with your integrity, with your truth? Is there another person in your life that you don't feel respected by? Have you given away your energy? Have you gone along with what someone else wanted? And then that's really affecting you in a negative way. The message of this is clear. I love the image in this card. I'll close up for you there. The mermaid, she is treating herself like the precious being that she is. She's reflecting. She's looking at the water. Your water, Scorpio. Take yourself to water if you need to a place of water where there's water. There's water flying in the air here too. You could feel like you're riding a wave right now. It could feel a bit stormy for you, possibly some of you. But this full moon is just harmonizing with you so much. If you need time to yourself, Scorpio, if this feels like a very private energy for you, and you could be really feeling, oh, like I have to balance a lot with the third house, a lot of different demands possibly. Give yourself a timeout if you need it. Listen to the ocean. When you were a kid, did you ever go to the ocean and you know how they used to say, well, my mom used to say, like, listen to the shell, you can hear the ocean in the shell. This will be a very nostalgic full moon, I think, for a lot of us, and maybe you too, Scorpio. If you respect yourself, it will help you to make the right decision in integrity with your soul. And if any of what I shared with you resonates, Scorpio, let me know. Leave me a comment in the comments below. I would love to hear. Libra, hello, beautiful Libra. Libra, I think you're really going to feel this full moon, especially if you have planets or points around this 23, 24 degree point. It's a big full moon for you because you're one of the cardinal signs, and it's happening for you on an angle of your chart, the 10th house, if you're Libra rising, and this is the house of career. So this is where you want to live in alignment with your passion, most of you, where you want to express your life purpose in your career. This is legacy. It's also retirement for some of you, semi-retirement, how you want to spend your precious time. This full moon is on the axis of the 10th and 4th house. So you could feel really like you are juggling, balancing. You could feel a bit of pressure here, balancing home and family, your domestic life, your sense of the need to belong, the need to feel at peace in your own home, in your own skin. You're balancing that with career matters, with public life, with demands from others, with the desire for success. There's a balance going on during this full moon, and it is making a square to your energy, which adds tension or pressure or a feeling of something's got to give. It is very motivating, a square. That's what I love about squares. They motivate us. We're like, it's not negotiable that we have to take some sort of action or step. And often we don't do it without that motivation, right, Libra? So in that sense, this full moon, whatever action you take could feel like quite a relief. Some of you will cut ties. The moon and Mars is the tie cutting planet, are in your 10th house of career. That can make you very ignited and inspired in career, or it can be like, I have to cut the cords to a person in my job. I have to cut the cord. I've got to sell my business. I've got to end something in career. Or that Mars energy making an opposition to the sun transiting your 4th house could mean that you're making a cut to a home. You could be moving. You could be changing something in your home. Someone could be moving out of your house. You could be moving out of your house. You could be getting a roommate, or a roommate could be leaving, so forth and so forth. You get the idea. Something could be going on with a family member. And also the 4th house is connected to the mother. So you could have memories or conversations with your mother, or something that is you're really feeling on a deep level. This is a beautiful time to do inner child healing. It's a beautiful time to shed a layer of your conditioning. And I know that's not easy, but this full moon is really encouraging that, especially because it's happening on your 4th, 10th house axis. And the 4th house is the axis of ancestral healing, the mother line, and our first experiences as children of our relationships with our mothers and our fathers. So, Libra, I've been shuffling. Let me see what the cards have to say for you. For your full moon in Cancer. And your card is love, love, love. Beautiful Libra. It says, choose love. Let love become a powerful force for change. This angel is looking at the North Star. What is your North Star? What is your inner compass pulling you toward, Libra? If I love the question, what would love do here? If you are in a conflict with someone, many of us are going to find ourselves in some sort of conflict. Not everyone. Mars can play out as conflict with another, or can play out as ignited passion with another or within ourselves. But this card is really bringing you back to your own self-love and to your love of another. And so if you can ask, what would unconditional love do if you're trying to decide how to move forward? The words to use, the conversations to have, the steps to take. This is the universe pointing you in the direction of unconditional love for yourself and others. I think it will help soften anything that's going on for you. And if everything is just amazing and loving and beautiful, know that the divine is loving you and the divine has your back, and that you are deeply loved by your source of deep divine inspiration, beautiful Libra. Virgo, hello, beautiful Virgo. Virgo, you are going to experience the Cancer full moon in your 11th house of friendships, support, alliances, where the world has your back, beautiful Virgo. This is a great full moon for you to get support from others. It's also great for social media platforms. It's great for putting your message out into the world. It's great for gathering in community, for finding your tribe or gathering in tribe. It's great for anything that you want to blossom. It's the house of hopes, wishes, and dreams, and long-term financial gains. This full moon is making a sextile to your energy. That is a new opportunity. That's a solution. That is you recognizing a need and taking a step and then having that need met, which I absolutely love for you. And you're going to be balancing during this full moon all of what I just talked about, the world energy. That's the world, the tarot card, the world is the 11th house, but it's like all of that group, community, friendships, socializing with other people, putting your message out to others. That's what you're balancing with your own more intimate 5th house matters. And that would be true love and romance, children, and your creative muse, really, your creative projects, your own sense of your inner child delight. That's freedom and doing things that are just really pleasurable for you. It's a very sensual house. So you're balancing both of those. You're balancing your own need to feel that lusciousness of life within you with responsibilities that you may have to others, or with where you're reaching out to other people for support, or the 11th house too. If you have any sort of a platform where you're putting something out, that can also be your audience or your followers. So what I see for you, beautiful Virgo, with this full moon is this is going to be a very creative full moon for you. It can be quite fun and social and passionate, and you could meet somebody through online dating. You could get in an argument with someone through online dating. Like, Mars can play out in a lot of different ways. Mars can play out through passion and inspiration and igniting in the fire. And it can also play out in an argument or a conflict, or being like, did you really just say that? Did I really say yes to, like, I have to go now, goodbye. Like, it could be any of these things, Virgo. So, but you're a very discerning sign. You're very discerning. You're very sensitive and psychic. And this is a super psychic full moon too. So I think overall, you're going to love this full moon. You are getting a sextile. I think I already said that. This full moon is harmonizing with your energy quite beautifully. And the nodes of the moon are now as of this full moon, they are in Pisces and Virgo, your sign, the south nodes in your sign. So if you have planets or points in the high degrees of your sign, I think you will doubly feel this full moon, beautiful Virgo. I would say take a chance on romance. Is that a song? Virgo, I would say really give yourself permission to enjoy yourself. There is discernment that's involved here. It will not be a problem because Venus and Saturn are conjunct. So we're all going to be, and Mercury's in Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn. There's a lot of grounding energy in this full moon that is going to keep us grounded. But don't be surprised if you meet somebody with the sun in the 5th house and Mars opposing that sun. You could actually feel quite passionate about meeting someone you meet. Destined, fated connection, past life, past love coming back into your life. Any of those possibilities. One of the reasons I love this full moon, there's a magic quality, there's a mystical quality to this full moon. It keeps giving me the chills. Every time I refer to it, I get the chills in the back of my heart. Okay, Virgo. Your card is ask for guidance. The divine will meet your every need. Guidance. Yes, this is what I was just talking about. Like your connection to the divine, the mystical connection, the intuitive, the nodes of the moon, which I spoke about a minute ago. Like the nodes of the moon are they're the nodes of fate and destiny. The south node is in your sign. That brings things into our life that often feel quite familiar. They feel like I've known you before, or I've been here before, the moments of deja vu. And also, you can get guidance on that or anything else that you're wondering about or that you're wanting to know about from your divine source, your angels, your guides. Maybe you're going to have a psychic opening, awareness, awakening during this full moon. That could happen too, especially with Uranus and Taurus. That's trining your energy, Virgo. And it's making a sextile to this moon. And that's the planet of awakening. So let's see what happens, but I'm excited for this. If you want to claim that you are guided or share anything else in the comments below, I would love to hear. Leo, hello, beautiful Leo. Leo, you are going to experience this full moon in your 12th house, the most mystical house, the house of endings and closures and letting go and surrendering. Also the house of divine downloads, intense dreams, you deepening your own connection with your inner magician, your inner mystical self. So this is a full moon in which you may need more rest. It is the house of retreat. It is the house of going inward. It's where we dive deep in guided meditation or visualization often to get a message from the divine. And I do have several guided meditations for you. I need a breath. I have a playlist for you underneath this video in the description box of meditations. And you can also download one from my website when you sign up for free to my weekly inspirational astrology updates. Leo, this is going to be a manifestation, culmination, or ending. When you have a full moon in the 12th house, it could be a spiritual awakening. It can be a dream that moves you into a new chapter or life even. I had a dream once that was life-changing. I had a dream in which I was asking, before my dream, I was asking, what's my passion? What am I meant to do? Spirit, just tell me, give me a sign, just tell me. And I had a dream at night in which I was doing stand-up comedy, and it was so compelling, I went and did it. I talk about it in my book because it was life-changing for me. I did it for 2 years, and it's not, it's not easy for me. It's not my natural thing to tell jokes, so to speak, at all. To do comedy, to do humor. It was way out of my comfort zone. Way, way, way. Leo, I'm telling you that for a reason. It came up for a reason, but just know that this is, oftentimes we're like, oh, 12th house. Oh, I don't want that. Like, there are so many negative connotations around the 12th house, but it's where we can have like amazing, amazing experiences from the inside out, where we can be transformed from the inside out, really. And this moon, I think, will be quite healing for you, deeply healing, because it's happening on your axis of healing in your chart, the 12th and 6th houses. Full moons are always on an axis. They are always oppositions of the moon and the sun is transiting your 6th house of daily work, routines, health, wellness, exercise, and so forth. And Mars will be making an opposition to the 6th house. So if there's any cords you need to cut or ties you need to cut or something you need to cut out of your life, that isn't good for your health, like a habit or a job or a boss or a coworker, this would be the moon to do it. You're really supported to do it during this moon. The sun shining in your sixth house, transiting your sixth house, is really nice for you having a new identity in the sixth house. Maybe you're going to take better care of your body. Maybe you're going to start doing a new exercise routine or changing your eating habits. But the sun can be like a new lease on life. And that is transiting in the sixth house. And it could be where you get a promotion too, or where you get a new job, where you get something that really expands the joy of your daily life. The sixth house, your daily, everyday wellness, optimal health. Neptune in Pisces, which is very much connected to self-love and compassion and unconditional self-regard. It is very much aligned to 12th house energy in the traditional zodiac. So you could have something that feels fated or destined happen because the 12th house is karmic relationships, karmic events, situations, past lives, all of that. So don't be surprised, Leo, if something happens, whether it's a message from a dream, whether it's a moment with a therapist or a coach or an astrologer like myself, that really where the light bulb goes off and a healing happens. All of this could happen. Let me see what the cards have to say for you now. Leo. Leo, your card is creativity. It says, express your creativity. Delight in the mystery of your inner muse. You know what I love about this card? The magic that is happening on her hand. The magic, the green, that's emerald green light, is the heart chakra. I feel like she is, well, creating with our hands. Of course, that's could be part of the message, but I feel like this is deeper than that. This is the magic of you. This is the magic of you, your magical ability, 12th house, your superpower, your spiritual superpower to co-create the life you want, to envision the light of your hands, for example, to envision your hands lighting up, your creativity lighting up, to envision the spiritual source of the divine, the spiritual source divine. Those are all synonyms. To envision that energy infused into your physical body, and feeling activated. It's an activation. You will very possibly be activated on a spiritual level that then really enhances your creativity and gives you perhaps a whole new vision or a new lease on life. Beautiful Leo, if you resonate with this, leave me a comment. I would love to hear. My beautiful friend, I am so excited for this full moon. Can you tell? Yes, I am channeling the passionate energy of it. It's going to be passionate off the charts. Thank you for joining me for this video. Thank you for giving this video a thumbs up, for liking this video, for commenting. I love hearing your comments. I love connecting with you. Thank you for tapping the subscribe button, subscribing to my channel. When you do so, you activate the algorithm that puts this video out to more people who love astrology, and it really helps support the growth of my work, which means everything to me and all of us YouTubers who are providing information to you. It's a beautiful way to support and give back. If you would like to do a private astrology consultation with me, get an astrology reading with me, there are lots of choices. I am now doing 2025 year ahead readings. Those are hour-and-a-half meetings, one-on-one on Zoom, where I go through all the major transits that are happening in 2025 that are affecting you personally in your natal chart. I also offer natal chart readings, heart's desire, life purpose, and 90-minute astrology consultations for those of you who want extra time with me to go into something more in depth that is of great importance to you right now. If you'd like coaching, the link to my coaching services is in the description box below, as well as the link to my astrology offerings. So go to my website, check out the testimonials that other clients have shared after working with me, and you should get a sense of whether you feel inspired to work together. And if you would like to get my free gift, I have a free gift for you, which I think will be quite helpful during this full moon in Cancer, which will be quite emotional, passionate, and deep, spiritually deep. Go to my website, sign up for my weekly inspirational astrology updates, and you will get my free instant download at the same time, which is a soothing, healing, guided meditation connecting you to your divine, intuitive guidance. Thank you again for joining me. I love that we are all together building this like-minded community and tribe. Let me know what you think of this full moon, what intuitions, what sense you have of it. I would love to hear. And until my next video, I am sending you all my love.